kidding me?
Show number 381.
You've got to throw some cold water on the situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now, so when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
System activate.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins. It's a tech podcast. But we are a ton cooler than your typical geek.
You guys rock.
And now, here's Will
and Tony.
No one listens to the radio. I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts. Podcasts are great. Radio's boring.
Thank you, everyone, for joining in once again for another edition of NetHeads. My name is Will.
And I'm Tony.
If you want to take part in the program, you can one of many ways. You know what? In the old days, we used to say, throw the hashtag NetHeads into the good old Twitter sphere. But now, basically the easiest way is go to one of the video streaming services, go into the comments. But if it's after the fact, hashtag NetHeads on your social media. You'll get our attention. Tony, this is an impromptu show. We First of all, we didn't say we're not going to be here Thursday, mainly because it was late in the game. This sounds bad. Okay, I'm gonna cut to you for reaction here. It's my favorite thing to do is to cut for reaction. By the way, hello to that fracking cat, Michelle Kuzo, and ZB in the chat. Welcome, guys. Okay, I'm going to cut to you, Tony, because there was no show yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You might know the reason why, because you follow me on social media. But I realized quite late in the game. All right, never mind. I messaged you about it, so reaction shot's done. But let's reaction shot with you anyway.
No. Go ahead, do it. We're go ahead, say it.
Okay, it was my wife's birthday yesterday.
What?
Yeah, I know. That's just, and the Academy Award goes to.
Not me.
Yeah, yesterday was my wife's birthday. We had a lovely dinner at the local hibachi place, as I call it. A lot of people would refer to it as Benihana, but ours is called Shirazoni. So we enjoyed that, which had the added benefit of my then having a nice teppanyaki breakfast for what was left over. Just go ahead and throw whatever fried rice, whatever vegetables, whatever protein it was into a pan.
Don't forget the yum yum sauce.
I did have see, they call it that too. Well, what is it, the goody goody or the yum yum? Which one is
yum?
which?
It's yum yum, and you can actually buy it in the grocery store. So,
but which one? What's the color of yum yum sauce?
You're asking a colorblind guy, but it's like maybe kind of like a I have no idea, like a tannish, like.
Okay, good. Yeah, that is the yum yum sauce, because there's the goody goody and the yum yum. Goody goody is supposed to be for the meats, basically.
Goody goody. And
the yum yum is for don't get me. You've already learned the dangers of getting me started on that. Good. Yeah, that's my favorite sauce. But we got extra to bring home, and I did not put it on. But I scrambled 3 eggs in the pan before I then threw in everything for reheating. Had a wonderful breakfast. Terrible breath, wonderful breakfast. What's new in your world, though, Tony? Because everybody already knows. They've heard it ad nauseum. Or ad nauseum? Is it ad nauseum or ad nauseum?
I think it's ad nauseum. It sounds right.
I don't know which one it is. But you've heard about the Disneyland trip, and it's also a week in San Diego for my daughter going to the Nationals competition, which sounds like they're going because they've moved up the ranks and everything else. But in dance competition terms, it just means that instead of just a regional show, it's a national one that anyone can travel to. So,
and can I just say real quick, your daughter is, from what I've seen from your wife, your daughter is amazingly talented, and it's just so cool to see you guys supporting her the way you do. So
let me tell you something. When you've got a 10-year-old, I have a 10-year-old. Her birthday was the 25th. Her birthday is 2 days before my wife. I always tell my wife that Blair was her greatest birthday gift. I have a funny feeling my wife's going to go get coffee right now based on the level of noise that I'm hearing. Anyway, she is an incredible dancer. I have seen her obviously develop and grow. But when you have a 10-year-old that's into dance, right? It's like they will be standing there talking to you, and one, they're always in perpetual motion. And two, they will just suddenly do things like lift a leg up to be completely perpendicular to the ground. Just straight up. Sorry, I didn't. There was no buffering there. I was just like, wait, which one is parallel is when it goes along with perpendicular? And it's just like, how are you getting your legs straight up like that? It hurts my lower back seeing her do dance stuff. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah. Anytime I see people doing that kind of stuff, I immediately like grab and put my knees as close together as possible because it just hurts.
Yeah,
just to watch.
I see her do these things and I pull my groin somehow. I don't know how that. Okay, wait a minute. Phrasing. Holy crap. You know what? I've never wished that there was a delay button more so than right now. You see, that's a terminology for hurting a tendon or something. And instead, oh, look at that. Michelle Kuzo wishing my beautiful wife a happy birthday. Isn't that lovely?
No, and it's funny because I actually saw a video on TikTok or Instagram. I can't remember which, but you could tell it was a dancer or a gymnast. And what she did was she threw a ball up in the air and she lifted her leg up. And so she went fully back and she caught the ball with her leg and it rolled down her leg and then up the other leg as she flipped. And it basically, the title was "Men Can't Do This." And of course, there's a guy who tried to do it and it immediately kind of checked him. So it's all I think about, like the fact that I'm not built that way and I never will be. No,
neither will I. Even as recent when I got down to my lowest weight in decades, I still have, even though I have probably been subscribed for 2 or 3 years to DDP yoga, I have yet to
DDP yoga.
Diamond
Dallas Page.
Yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, see, I should have the wrestling connection.
Wrestler? Yeah.
I don't know if he came up with it or the right person said, I've got this amazing dynamic yoga program. I just need to get a face to it. And who do you think of when you think of flexibility other than Diamond Dallas Page? I mean, you didn't used to, but now
I never thought of him. I never thought of him. He always wore jeans on the mat. Like I never thought of him as a flexible individual. That's the funny part. He looked like the guy who like had an all-night bender the night before and was coming. He like woke up off the side of the road and just started fighting people. That's how I always thought about it. So him doing yoga is completely new to me.
You expect him to just smell of beef jerky and menthol, right? That's what I expect. But no, I mean, and a lot of people have sworn by it, and a lot of people have encouraged me to do it. But hasn't happened yet.
So listen, I did a number of years ago when I had finally gotten to a position when I was young, a lot younger, that I was like, I had to do something to change like my lifestyle. And so I actually subscribed to Beachbody, the insanity workout. And the funny thing was I could never really get past the warm-ups, but that was enough for me to lose a lot of weight. But I realized I didn't have to do all that work for a beach body because I look like a beached whale. So that is a beach body.
Now you see, otherwise, you don't have to be so hurtful, pal. You could have said, I am a beach ball. I mean, and you don't have to equate yourself to an animal, because I know I look like I'm smuggling a lot of beach equipment around my waist. So, I got an inner tube. What the hell? So, I feel it. Anyway, how the hell did we start talking about, just flexibility?
It was doing anything we could to avoid talking about pulled groins. So.
Yeah, exactly. It was just, boy, I don't know what a faux pas is, but that was definitely one. I'll tell you what. Tony, we're not going to bury the lead, the thumbnail, so that way we can guarantee in the world of engagement that we lose 90% of the people that click here through the thumbnail. I want to give you a Deadpool update. Now, earlier in the week, maybe near the end of last week, Tony received a wonderful image where I was so excited to show this, which was the eye shield, right? It looks so beautiful. And if you think, it's like it has a nice surface finish. This is the eye frame for the Deadpool helmet. Now, for those that, just to quickly recap, or if this is your first time here, the Deadpool helmet that I purchased is one that was designed supposedly off of the concept work we have seen from the new Deadpool movie. And it prints up. I actually got this one because I had a different one too, but it involved two pieces being as one. In this case, the back piece and the top piece were together like this, which don't fit on my printer's build plate. But if the back is a separate piece and the top is a separate piece, okay, then it kind of works out. I'm a little nervous looking at this now.
I'm looking at this. I feel like you should be some type of like Doctor Who villain.
Yeah, right? And then the beautiful part about it, other than sounding like an absolute idiot wearing it, is that you'll notice there are these tabs all around, right?
Uh-huh.
That's where magnets go.
Yep.
So that way, when you have every piece is part of it holding together. This is the first time I've ever done this. This is one of the side pieces, right?
And you need one of those. You need one of those little microphones that goes on your face that you can talk and it comes out of a box.
Oh, guys, good news. It's going to fit.
Looks
Anyway,
like Magneto now. There you go.
Right. So the beautiful part is it's an intricate setup where all of the magnets are all part of the assembly. So you're never really trapped in the helmet. And those eyes, the diamond-shaped Harlequin eyes, they sit right in here. Now, Tony, when I was holding that up to you, I was holding a piece of tissue in there. There was actually, as you notice, there's no eye inset. And the reason why is because...
You won't be able to see through it.
No, because as often happens in the world of 3D printing when you have a large head, there's this thing called scaling that we do. And I know that for this particular manufacturer, this designer, 107.9% is how much it has to go up in order to fit my face. And if you do that, you have to do that with all the pieces. So even though I put a lovely shine of spray paint on this and everything, I went to go put in the previous iframe, and I'm like, God damn it, well, that doesn't work. And as an example, you'll notice there is a slight, ever so slight gap at the bottom there.
Okay.
So I had to find myself, I'm like, son of a gun, I have to reprint them. But you know what? I think I actually fell into a happy accident, because when I did scale it up, I said, you know what? Since I've got to reprint these, and because I'm doing little to no finishing work, the fact that I put glossy spray paint on anything is the maximum level I'm willing to go to, especially when it's going to take, it's no minimum effort for me. It's going to take 198 magnets for this whole thing to go together, and each one has to be glued in. But I decided, well, if we're going to reprint this, let's reprint these with finer detail. Long story short, in 3D printing, 0.2 millimeter layer lines were used for the original. This one I went 0.16, so slightly greater detail, smaller distance between each line. Look at the finish on this thing.
That's nice.
I am doing no spray paint. That is good enough.
I will say though, when I was looking at the thumbnail for the two eyepieces, I do have to say I do like the one that's on your left, my right. Just because for Deadpool it looks wet, and that just describes Deadpool as much as possible.
Okay, again, phrasing for starters, and secondly,
that was intentional though that time.
Okay, good. But secondly, I will say I've already glued the eyepieces in, so I could try and tape it off, but and by the way, this one is going out specifically to that fracking cat, because now that it's on, nobody cared who I was until I put on the mask. So we'll see. There you go. There's your bane, buddy. I hope you're happy. So that's an update on the Deadpool helmet. When I get back from my trip, because there's no way I'm taking it with me to do this, I shall be assembling all of the pieces finally together. Just pick some time to... I mean, it would be a good downtime project, but, over on Hulu or Disney Plus, if you have Hulu with your Disney Plus, they dropped all of the current new season of their exclusive show, The Bear, which I am very fond of. So my apologies to all of my friends that I will be referred to as Chef when I do that. But when we get back, I'm just going to sit down. I mean, look, there's still a little shine on there.
It's still nice, yeah. Yeah,
it's enough. It's enough, my friend. So that will be the thing. I'll be sitting down, watching The Bear, and just using my E6000 glue and dab, dabbity dab of glue, and then magnet, because you want it to get a little tacky, that E6000 apparently. But what's new in your world, Tony? I hear you had what I can only term as a real shitty adventure recently.
Oh my word. I didn't know if we wanted to talk about that.
Just quickly.
So for those of you who are not homeowners, which count yourself lucky at this point in life. In most basements, you have your gray matter, your gray water, your sewage, come out via a gravity pipe. So there's a pipe that angles down, everything goes into that pipe, and it goes out to your septic system or to city sewage, which I would wish we were in the city because that would make life so much easier. But if you're in a basement, the toilet, the shower, the sinks, whatever, because they're below that grade, you have to have something that pumps them up into the pipe and gets them outside. And there's a little well, and there's what they call a sewer or a sewage ejection pump. Not a sump pump, a sewage ejection pump, which has a little switch that when the switch goes up, it tells it to pump it all out, and it goes up. Well, a couple weeks ago, it wasn't working. Something was a little bit awry, and there was things that were leaking out of that well. And we found out that there was actually like some matter, not going to say what kind, that was preventing the switch from moving. And then we got down and dirty and fixed it. And I will say a huge shout out to my wife, because she's the kind of individual that wants to get involved with everything that I'm doing. Like, I told her I'm going to just manually change the oil in our car, and she's like, I want to be right there. I'm like, okay, great. And so we thought we fixed the problem. And then Tuesday, I went to go shower, and you flush the toilet. And one of the indicators that it's not pumping is the toilet water won't go down. It looks like it's being stopped up, but it wasn't going down. There was nothing to clog it. And I realized the pump wasn't working, even if I tried to make it go manual. So we had to go buy a replacement ejector pump and then replace it, which caused us to cut pipes and get our hands down and dirty and do stuff we don't want to talk about, which we now have a new rule about what can be done down in the basement. Just saying. But the funny, it's like, if it's a number 2, you go upstairs. That's just how it is now.
Look, man, I totally get it. You know what I mean? Because realistically speaking, when you live in a situation like that, it makes perfect sense, because you want to make sure gravity is on your side. I get
But
it.
I will tell you this right now. We had one of the biggest missed opportunities. From now on, when my wife and I are doing things, we are going to be recording it.
There you go.
Because here's what happened. So I had to cut the pipe that had the basically, there's a piece that when the sewage goes up there, when it stops pumping, it's going to come down, and it sits in the pipe, and it's got a flap that prevents it from going back down into the well. And so I cut just below that, and then I had new PVC pipe that I went and I had to put a knuckle in to kind of, put the pieces together, because we weren't sure how much we needed at the time. Got to Home Depot right before they closed at 10 o'clock. I was running through the door as it turned at 10 o'clock. And so we had to get this working. And so there's 2 PVC pipes that are put together. I had them both sealed. It said 15 minutes for curing. And one was below the panel that it was below the panel that that covered the well, and then there's a knuckle above the panel, so we had to make sure we ran it through. And we put the pump in there the first time, and the switch was hitting the wall, so it wouldn't turn on. So we had to move the switch a little bit, and then it would turn on, but then it wouldn't turn off because it was getting stuck. So we had to move the whole pump. Well, Rebecca decided she didn't want to move the pump by reaching down into what was down there. She was using the PVC pipe that I had just glued together. And so we were testing to see if the water was going in, and she went to move the panel so that she could see down in. And when she did, she disconnected the pipe at the knuckle point where it would go up, just as the pump turned on.
Oh God.
And it goes, I think it's like 600 gallons per minute or something like that. It's something like outrageously fast. And thankfully we had already cycled through a couple manual things, so it wasn't all dirty water, but and she's down in the hole looking, and the pipe opens up and just shoots her in the face, and she's screaming. And what she does is, instead of like trying to unplug the pump, she closes the valve where it's supposed to go up into it. So now it's coming both ways. And
oh my gosh,
we were able to laugh afterward, but it's something that we hope we don't have to do ever again for at least 10 years, because it's supposed to last at least 10 years.
Well, my hopes and prayers are with you. That is terrible. I can say that as a homeowner as well, dealing with a very prominent yet terrible developer that's developed a lot of the Pittsburgh, Antioch, Oakley, and Brentwood area. I won't say their name. I discovered my downstairs toilet here, which is the one we commonly refer to as mine because it's adjacent to my office. I ended up taking it apart and discovering, when I was having some problems with it, that somebody had decided, you know what, we can just mount the toilet right on top of the pipe. We don't need enough concrete to have some bolts mounted in here. It can just sit on the pipe, no big deal. And that led to one of the worst injuries I've ever gotten because I had to use an attachment to have a tiny, tiny saw blade on a post on the end of my drill. And somehow I ended up just like digging into one of my hands, if memory serves. It was not fun. So the whole point is my sympathies are with you. And the best thing I think was when Tony was recounting this story for me, which this will come up again later. Unfortunately, your wallet was in the clothing that you had been wearing, and you guys were like, we're just writing this stuff off, which I totally get. And yet you said, oh, wait, crud, my wallet is there. Thankfully, though, you had a product demo to do.
Yeah.
And
yeah, but let's explain, like, in order for us to figure out where the wallet was, because my wife looked in the trash bag where the pants were to see, and she couldn't find it. And so we drove all the way back to Home Depot because I thought maybe I ran, because I was running. I hurt myself running. I was running back to the car and maybe I dropped it there. They couldn't find it. And so I'm like, you know what? I took another trash bag and I said, I'm just going to move every piece of fecal garment from one bag to the next and just see. And as I did it, I found my wallet. I was like, well, there goes my Marvel wallet. I'm never using that one again. And so I got this nice Ridge one from the TikTok shop that I did a review for, and I'm actually kind of enjoying it now.
Yeah, we'll come up with that. We'll come up with more of that later. And believe it or not, that ties into what we're talking about later. But Tony, one thing that I haven't done today, and today is technically day 28. Unfortunately, this is the last bottle that I have. And I had to pause the subscription because I'm going to be gone for 12 days. You guys are going to see something you've never seen. This is my Magic Mind. This is the little bottle, not this one, but every day I take one of these things. And why? Because it is like a mental performance shot for my mind. I kid you not. So here we go. You want to see my Magic Mind face? Here you go. And I love it. Now, usually I'm doing this in the kitchen, and I go over to the water cooler. I put a little more water in there, shake it up so I'm the kind of person I want every last drop. That's my Magic Mind shot. Delicious little taste and aftertaste of citrus. Maybe, I always say it's a little guava-ish, but I don't really know what guava tastes like, so I don't know why I say that. And they say right on the bottle, too. They tell you it is subtly sweet, which is true, and it'll provide a sharper mind, lower stress, and better energy. And it is day 28. And mostly, maybe this is the reason why I was a little down this morning. Hadn't had my Magic Mind yet. The one thing I love about it is that it gives you sustained energy throughout the day, okay? And I don't know if you realize this, Tony. It can enhance your caffeine, and it also makes it work better. Because believe it or not, caffeine doesn't actually give you energy. Caffeine does a chemical process in the mind to make you ignore the fact that you're tired. Did you know that, Tony?
Yeah, I did.
Well, now with the Magic Mind and the ingredients and herbs and things they have in there, they help that process along so you never experience the caffeine crash. So it's an excellent enhancement to your daily morning routine for your coffee. It's not a coffee replacement. Like I said, it's a mental performance shot for your mind. Also, when you ask me, you may have said, Will, what the heck are you taking in? How do you know it's safe? Not only is it doctor validated with over 200 scientific studies behind every ingredient, they also use cognizin citicoline, which say that 5 times real fast. It's one of the best nootropics on the market, which is one of the things that helps the mind. Their matcha is the highest grade possible. It's organic, ceremonial grade matcha grown in Japan. And plus, nano encapsulation technology. So making things really, really small so they're easier to absorb. They'll get absorbed 5 to 10 times faster because they're so wonderfully tiny. And you know, most importantly, the ingredients, they're organic. Like I said, they've got the high-grade matcha. They've got a series of different mushrooms. I don't know if you guys realize this. There's a lot of power in those funky little fungi, and like the lion's mane mushroom, the cordyceps that they got in there. All these things, they help benefit both your mood and your mind. It's like I said, mental performance shot for the mind, guys. I have enjoyed Magic Mind. Now, honestly speaking, it has been, even though this is 28 days straight, I used to not take it on the weekend so I could save it during the week so I could be my best. But realistically speaking, like anything, much in the same way that you take your daily vitamins, this is the same thing. These are ingredients that don't just benefit you when you take it, but they benefit you over the long term. They will give you, like after 3 to 4 days, you will see maximum results. So if you do get Magic Mind, make sure you get yourself at least 7 days. Okay, guys? But you know, I think the packaging, it comes in with at least 15 bottles. If you really want to find out how much you may like it, I can save you some money in doing it. Go to magicmind.com/netheads20 or use netheads20 at checkout. You'll get 48% on a subscription or 28% on a single purchase. You do the math, which is better. You know, and they're probably not going to like me for saying this, but and I haven't checked on it, but if your subscription can be canceled at any time, I'd say get the subscription first, and then if you're not satisfied, ixnay on the subscription, but otherwise, get yourself a shot of Magic Mind, 3 to 4 days. I guarantee you'll see results. I see results right away. As a matter of fact, before the end of the show, you're going to be like, well, why won't you shut up? We got to go. And that was because of the Magic Mind. So again, magicmind.com/netheads20 or netheads20 at checkout. Get yourself 20% off a single purchase or 48% off a subscription. Take advantage of it today. It is even, I believe, health savings account or flexible health account capable. So you can also use your tax-free dollars in order to get it. So take advantage of that when you can, where you can, as soon as possible. Tony?
Yep.
What's going on in the tech world that you think, and we're gonna have a fun thing. Hopefully we'll come up with a jingle for it. And I got to admit, I cheated when I came up with this. There are two things I love in this world, Tony: alliteration and things you can reuse. So now, this is the first time we are going to turn to Tony's Tech Tidings, which is great because it means when Trent is here, it can also be Trent's Tech Tidings. So, what is in the tech? Let's see. It's also, guys, it's also a game because we're going to find out what Tony picked and do I know anything about it. Let's see.
Well, there's actually a couple things to just kind of throw out there. Nothing relatively exciting other than, since we always talk about this and we always like new news.
New news.
Apple Vision Pro. Thank you very much, Will. Apple Vision Pro has finally been released internationally. It's actually more expensive to buy it in China than it is in the United States. I don't know if that's any type of reason that they're trying to increase Chinese tourism. I don't know what that could be. But they just released some photos of people wearing it, which they look happy until I think they realize they have to actually lug that thing around, whatever they do with it. Microsoft has put a hold on its recent Windows 11 update. So if you're a Windows PC user, please be aware. This is because there is a issue with the update that is causing infinite loops in restarting. And so if you run Windows 11 version 23H2 or 22H2, you should be safe if you haven't had a problem. But they did stop the update because it was constantly showing a blue screen and looping over and over and over again.
Ooh.
But if you did do the update, and I'm here to help you. First of all, if you want to know which version you are,
Tony, hold on, I'm gonna interrupt you here.
Yep.
Wait, what's the thing that the Russo brothers always rely on? I'm gonna stop you right there. Every time I think about that now, I always think of either Tony Stark or Peter Parker. It's like, I'm gonna stop you right there. If they did the update, unless they're watching on one of their other devices, they can't hear you right now, but please do help.
Okay, so if you have a computer that you're not currently using because there was an issue with the update, first of all, if you want to know which version you are using, you're going to go down to the folder icon on your screen, and you'll pull it up, and where it says My PC, you'll just right click and look at properties, and it will show you in the Windows 11 area, the description. It'll tell you exactly which version you have. But if you are stuck in an infinite loop and you're using another device to watch this show, because of course Will can't realize people have more than one device.
It makes no sense to me, Tony.
It makes lots of sense. How many computers do you have in front of you right now?
Doesn't matter. How many times do
Okay.
I watch YouTube on the TV as well? I'm an idiot. Never mind. Move
Okay.
on.
So when you get to the blue screen, you're going to hit troubleshoot, go to advanced options, and then there's an option to uninstall updates. And that's exactly what you're going to want to do. They are working on a quality test to make sure that this loop is fixed, because there are supposed to be some good features in the newest update, but we're not going to get it until, you wouldn't see me right now if I would have updated my computer. So it's always good to wait a little bit, especially with what's coming out recently for Apple OS 11 or OS 18 and Watch OS 11. There have been reports that people that have been trying out the developers version are disappointed in it. So just be prepared.
Yeah, that's the reason why I got out of beta programs and the developer versions. I just couldn't stomach them anywhere. But I got to admit that news is kind of scary, because I believe, like my primary computer here that everyone's seeing me through right now, that we're doing the program with, it's on auto update. So I'm glad I didn't get caught in this mess. And it must have been a scary thing when I sent you a message saying, "Hold on, I got to restart real quick." You're like, "Oh, I don't know what that will."
Look what I'm reading right now. Yeah.
I don't think you want to do that. Well, Tony, those are excellent news stories, wonderful information. Was aware, wasn't aware, wasn't aware. The thing that kills me is hearing that Apple Vision Pro, when they're already in the American markets, realizing we got to figure out a way to make it cheaper so we can sell it cheaper, it coming out at a higher price in China. But that's all relative, of course, to the median income, and of course how their economy is doing. So,
and you consider the fact that a lot of the components for the Apple Vision Pro, yeah. So it's like, so the question is, are they manufacturing, then assembling in the United States, and then sending back out, because they need to figure out what they're doing? And
that's an excellent question, because there are quite a few chip manufacturers and the like that strategic partnerships have been struck with, where they've made an investment in U.S. facilities to manufacture their products, including some chip makers. Like one of the things that, we're not going to talk politics, but it's like one of the things that we got reminded about last night during that, whatever you want to call it. So that's interesting news. It's good stuff I wasn't aware with. And honestly speaking, the only thing I was going to contribute, which I think is a good thing to get your opinion on, just real quick. There, we constantly see, like one of the people I follow on TikTok, Isa Does Tech, or Isa, I don't know how it's pronounced. Isa sounds better, but like she gets a lot of tech for review. And quite often, I've seen her receive different folding phones. Some of them are more of a flip phone design. Some of them been fold out that way. Like, are you drawn in to the concept of the folding phone?
Are you talking about the one with the folding screens?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no, not at all. I have a fear of two things. One, I did not like flip phones for the fact that after a while of you flipping them, the plastic casing would break and you would basically have two pieces of a phone that just didn't connect properly. And then me coming into understanding how they can have folding displays with OLED and everything else. I can't stand the idea of creases.
Yeah.
And as much as they are the new thing, and we've got a couple years on them and they're still trying to perfect the technology, we don't know how long these phones are really going to last with excessive use. Because I'm a guy that I pull my phone out to check it all the time. And so for me, it's got to be tried and true before I even go there. And that crease will drive me nuts. It's almost like a little bit of image burn on a television. Some people can look past it. I can't. So
no, that would drive me absolutely apeshit. It's the reason why I'm not drawn to it either. I just am not. That's good stuff, Tony. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. One of the things that I wanted to talk about, one of the things I was thinking about, because unfortunately, Tony, I am a slave to technology. And I don't want to say I'm addicted to shopping, but when I see something that may be of benefit immediately in my life, it's one of the things that I will consider getting. And the problem for those of us that are fans of the clock app, as we like to call it, quiet Deadpool helmet, those of us that are fans of it, one thing that is very clear is that they have become a major driver in the way of e-commerce, both trying to acquire market share and being known as a reliable source. And as I have mentioned many times, I and the family at the end of our San Diego trip, we're going to Disneyland. And if I see technology that's going to benefit me, I'm going to talk about it. One of the things I do not have in here was something from a company called Corksicle. And you may have seen ads for this on, I see, you have, okay. And the one I got I was a sucker for, because my family, as we talked about on the last episode, one of the major draws for the third day of the trip is that we are going to spend the morning at least in Galaxy's Edge. We are not running out of a galaxy far, far away. We're going to spend some time in there. Near the end of the morning, we've got our appointment at the droid factory, and that'll still give us an opportunity to do like one last walk around, to have the droids interact. We went Magic Band Plus, so that way we can do some of the more enhanced app like bounty hunter adventure things around the park. We're doing all these things, but one of the things I love to do is take pictures while we're at the park. I love to do it. Now, I will say in one of these things I'm about to talk about that I was drawn to, there's one aspect of it that can't be used, okay? But the first one I wanted to show you is I thought was great. Oh, by the way, the Corksicle thing, I didn't finish that. Even though I wear cargo shorts, I hate things in my pockets, and I'm afraid that they're going to fall out on rides. And every one of the rides has a place to stash your stuff, right? That's one of the draws of it for safety. The Corksicle it's a twofold thing. It is a bag that, if you want to just think of it, a cathedral-style top, an arch top, think of it as a rectangle. This particular one, though, is designed with coloring, and with the very top back of it on that kind of arch top is like Yoda or Grogu themed. It's got Yoda ears, basically.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And then and then it's got a zip back, and that way it's got a pocket and the strap long enough to be a body sling. So that way I've got a place to put things that I don't want to have in my pockets that I also don't immediately need, or if I want a safer place to put my phone. And then in the front of it, it holds a water bottle, which is essential for Disneyland if you don't want to go deeply out of pocket on staying hydrated, because they got plenty of water filling stations. But that one, I really should have brought it in so you can see it. I'll definitely have to recap it on the next episode if we do one on the 11th. It is Chewbacca colored, and the water bottle has a bandolier going around.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's etched in. So now I could have gone with the supposed Mando one, but you couldn't really tell that it was anything that was Mandalorian style. So I didn't go
Mando's
for that one.
fun, but Chewbacca's pretty awesome, though. That's cool.
Yeah, exactly. And that way, if I do happen to take a picture with Chewbacca, I can hold my bottle up while I'm taking the picture with him, or I can at least show it to him and see how the character, or how the cast member inside the big woolly costume reacts. So one of the things that I was drawn to, though, that I love to take pictures on my trips, and this one kind of excited me for two different reasons. And the first is because it's a convenient way to make your phone clips right into it, and now with a wireless Bluetooth shutter, you can use your forward-facing camera to take traditional horizontal style photos.
Nice.
And frame them up, and that way you're not holding your phone, you're not relying on hitting a button. You can even frame it up if you're recording. Like I use what I call the body tripod a lot, which is lock your elbows into your body, hold your phone like this, and that way you're guaranteed against too much shake. You don't want to Blair Witch Project your home video memories. So I've got that. But the other aspect to it is that I think is kind of neat is that it also does reorient. So that way you can go horizontal if you want to take content, or if you want to take pictures that way. Cool. Also, you can use it as an additional way to hold your phone while doing, as we in the content world game know, content. Because, we all know I'm going with the best of intentions of also temporarily being a Disney content creator while I'm at the parks, and it'll never happen. But I've got that lofty goal. The only aspect that I'm going to show you about this thing that you can't really use unless you use it as, now watch this stylish swiftness. Top of a garbage can, frame up your shot. It's now a tripod.
Nice.
Now, the only thing you cannot use it for in Disney parks unless there is a length requirement that it doesn't exceed. But if you're trying to grab some of those family photos and you're having to do this back shot, you could be holding the remote, because guess what? The remote comes out. You could hold it in this hand, hold it out to get a little more length when you're doing those arm reach out shots to frame everybody in the shot. Use the shutter, take the picture. So
yeah, just be careful, because if they even think of it that it looks like a selfie stick, they'll walk you out the park. Yeah,
it is. No, they'll take it away.
They'll walk you to a locker. No, they won't take it away from you.
Oh, okay.
They'll have you lock it up in a locker.
Yeah, so that as an aspect I wouldn't use at the park. But the wireless remote is also a neat thing, even if you're just, because you can still use the tripod aspect just by without even extending it out. It's just going to be at an angle.
Cool.
Yeah, and this is there'll be a link. Now, here's the thing where I was talking about, the TikTok shop and everything else. Everything you're seeing, I did buy, by the way. I didn't get a free sample of this, which this one I could have, and probably the next one I show you, I could have as well. But after this is over, I will be doing some shoppable videos on TikTok. So if any of this stuff interests you, the link to the TikToks will be in the description eventually, guys. And when we post the show, they'll be there too. So I thought this one was neat. But from a matter of convenience, this one excited me more. And now as a content creator, Tony, I think this one will excite you more. And I'm going to let you see this one first, okay? Well, first thing I'm going to tell you is that it is mag-mounted. So if you've got an iPhone, whatever, and later, or you're an Android user, it does have a mag mount, so your phone will automatically magnet right onto it, okay? So that's a cool benefit. And once again, you can use it to frame photos. So everyone else will see this after you, Tony. Similar style, but it mag mounts on. Not quite as compact, but it's quick and easy to turn it. Same wireless remote style as well. Okay? Now we'll let everyone else see it.
I couldn't see it.
Oh, you couldn't? Oh, yeah, that's right. You can't see it if I'm showing you. Duh. Okay, well, here it is. The overall setup is like this, so not quite as compact. You wouldn't be able to slide this into your pocket. And this one is not really, this isn't a concept for Disneyland. And I'll tell you the pluses and minuses of this versus the other. Mind you, I haven't used it, so I have questions, and I'm wondering if it makes clearance on the 3 lenses when it's mounted right here. But here's the cool aspect. Once again, it does have the removable remote. But the removable remote that it has, unlike the other one, which uses a button battery, this one's USB-C rechargeable. And when I got it, I got the extra content creator pack. Okay, so
nice.
There's 2 ways you can use this. Let's say you're filming something and you need a fill light. It pops right on there. Let's say you need a fill light for yourself for content you're shooting of yourself. You rotate it, it's right there.
Nice.
Yes, it's a nice little light, and again, USB-C charged. Both of these products, by the way, are made from Luanzi, but this isn't really an infomercial. This is stuff I bought and I thought was interesting. Well, there's one aspect we got to test a little more on.
Yeah, don't come to me yet, because I got.
Don't worry about it.
So you're bringing that up. Of course, I have to show what I have.
Well, but hold on a second. Yeah, I've got one of those too, the neck one, right? Okay.
Yep.
But here's the other cool aspect of this that I really wanted to get your opinion on. I am right-handed. You've seen me holding a lot of these things in my right hand. But you'll notice one quirky little thing, Tony, about this. Do you see what this is right there? You see what that is? It's a mirror. So now imagine instead I use my left hand. Because one of the things as content creators that we've got to deal with is that if we want to frame ourselves up, we've always got to use the forward-facing camera on our phones, right? We got to.
How low-tech and awesome is that?
So this has a selfie mirror, so that way you can instead use the much higher quality camera on your phone, those triples. So that way, I haven't tested it out yet, but you could frame up your shot and see it. So this is like an overall tight package. The first thing I showed you was a whole whopping, I think, $7 or $8. This one with the light was $21, which I'm sure if you stock it on TikTok or other places, you can get for less as well. But even like if you're doing self-content facing forward, the ability to have the light as well, just right there, is something that I'm interested to see how much this little light actually fills in. And you can change the temperature on it. And again, USB-C chargeable, unlike the button battery on this. Not to mention on this unit, the first thing I showed you, it does a soft mount in, so it does require resistance and holding. This one mags right in, so that's a magnet that holds it in place as well.
Nice.
So a lot of interesting. I wonder what that is. Oh, it's also got a shoe for putting other stuff in, like a mic. So, but best of all, too, if you wanted to just make this part of your content creation kit, it's also threaded to go on a tripod. So it's a really neat thing for about $24. And one that I would consider doing, especially if that framing aligns up. But I thought these were two really cool things. Obviously, for anyone going on a trip, if you want to be able to have more stable picture-taking experience and something that's really compact or may fit in your corksicle bag, this one. So the question is, Tony, that we have to ask, and what the name of the new segment will be, are they cool or are they cap?
Well, I'm going to say this, especially with the mirror, that's absolutely cool. Because let's face it, there are people selling things on the TikTok shop that are basically wireless displays that will stream what your camera is showing on your phone, and they're expensive. How much would you say that one device was for you?
Oh, if I had gone really cheap, I think it would have been somewhere between $12 and $14 just for this. If I had gone with and I know because I think it was like $21 or $24 for the kit with the light. Now, Tony, I'm going to hit record here real quick. I'm just going to do a little test. We're going to see how this frames up while I shoot this live, looking at myself.
Oh, it's perfect.
And how well does it do? It's got a little more headroom, so realistically, it looks like for my framing, I would actually have to be staring at my chest, but you can get an idea and gauge that and then see your results. So not bad. I will say it is cool. It does fall into the cool category. Yeah. For sure. And like I said, after the fact, you'll be able to see TikTok shoppable videos of those. I'm going to record 2 videos where I'm packing up robots for shipping before I go, and then I'm going to do 2 videos for those, and I'm going to kind of product video robot, because maybe that'll be a good balance. But we never gave you the chance to show you. I have one of these too, Tony, and which, by the way, I will be using, if I can frame it up right, for the shooting footage of all of the magnets going into the Deadpool helmet. But this one is also a cool MagSafe product.
Yeah, absolutely. This one's a Telesin. It literally just disconnects. Now, if you have a big neck like I do, the camera can feel a little bit too close for comfort, but it does still have the same magnet thing for the phone. So you can just literally just drop it right on there and you can record and see what you're doing. And if you're a heavy breather, just make sure you edit the audio before you put the video out. The other thing I got that I actually haven't played around with too much yet is it's called Clear Look, and it's this little piece. It fits easily in your pocket, but you can pull it out like this and it will hold your phone. So I can put my phone in it just like this. I can move it to be vertical like this. And it's got a clip that I can clip it on anything. I can clip it on blinds. It'll come back this way. I can decide different ways to use it. When you did your video about the cherries, I'm like, that's exactly what I was thinking about using it for, is like clipping it to something in the refrigerator and being able to use it. And it's very versatile, and you can clip it on anything you want. And it's something I want to use, and I've seen people use it, and it didn't cost a lot of money. So
yeah. I gotta be honest. One of my low res solutions that I use all the time. There's a company called, by the way, welcome to the infomercial hour. My name is Will. But this one was like one of the most practical. I'm a big person that relies on saving my pinky from the pinky dent by having some type of loop, or, a lot of people use pop sockets and the like. This one's made by a company called Love Handle. But the thing that I love about this one in particular,
something I'm familiar with.
It does, right? It does kickstand out, so that way it can work just as a stand here on my desk. But also, it has 2 additional magnets right here. So if there's anything metal, I can connect this to it if I wanted to shoot content. Or like the other day when I was breaking down boxes in the garage listening to a podcast, I just literally magnet mounted my phone onto the car, so that way I knew it wasn't on the ground and wasn't going to fall or get stepped on, and everything was at ear level. So yeah, that's it. That's what I got. Actually, the other thing too that I have to test that I haven't, I need to make sure of how many magnets I purchased. But our last Disneyland trip, I got an Indiana Jones hat, white brim. Always wanted to get one, and it was a stupid purchase when we just out of an entire Disneyland trip of derived from poor choices. But one of the things I wanted to do is I'm like, the only thing it's missing is Mickey ears, right? So I've got the frames over there. I want to see if they will work. I anticipate that they would fall off all the time, and I don't want to put extra holes in the nice felt hat. But 3 magnets on this side, 3 magnets on the other side of the frame that would go on the inside of the hat, and click, click. Instant Mickey ears on my Indiana Jones hat. I'll be testing those out before we go, or I'll take magnets with. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, that's all I got.
That makes me happy that you have a Indiana Jones fedora, because I actually have one too. You can't see it, but it's over this way. I actually got mine for free back when I think they had excess stock. They were giving them away for Disney Movie Insiders or Disney Movie Rewards at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so with buying DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff, I had enough points to get a fedora, and I have it, and it's just sitting on a nail on the wall that you can't see because everything else is Marvel. Maybe I'll put it on Groot at some point.
Well, you know, the nice thing is my hat rack is right behind me. The only problem that I have with the design is that when I wear it, it feels a little more Crocodile Dundee than Indiana Jones. But the nice thing is when you buy it in the park, it does have Indiana Jones headwear collection label in the back and right underneath the hat.
Does yours have the Indiana Jones logo on the band on the outside of it?
Nope. No. It's a clean hat.
Mine did. I actually had to remove that. So
wait a minute.
Because I didn't like.
Hold on a second. Do you know, honest to God, what I never knew? The little pin right there.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to leave that.
I removed mine.
What is it? Is it like stitched on? What is it?
It's stitched on. Yeah. You have to actually alter it.
No, I'm not taking that off, man. I'm not taking that off. And interestingly enough, like my whole family hates me in hats, but when it came to what everyone was going to wear, Blair has a full array of things. She's got all of her fits mapped out. The first day, we're all wearing coordinated Best Day Ever shirts that are Disney themed. And she's got a set of Disney ears she plans on wearing for that. Day 2, when we're in California Adventure, she has a Monsters, Inc. Mike Wazowski green jersey shirt and a set of green horns to wear. So she's got that. And then our third day, I don't remember what she's wearing, but my wife and I are wearing matching droid shirts, whereas I've got R2, she's got BB-8, which is in more of a pink mini ears with holding a Mickey balloon with Grogu peeking between the ears, and my R2 is wearing black Mickey ears with the Grogu. I'm sure there'll be pictures after the fact because I love taking photos. But anyway, that's my last 3D print to go, and that's the last thing I got because I got to go, man. I got a lot to do. I have to have everything packed tonight so we can leave early tomorrow morning because I looked at the travel plan, and if we want to be in San Diego by 4 p.m., it says we got to leave by 8:21 a.m., and that doesn't even take into consideration stops. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean, but that's a pretty nice late start for a road trip. I mean, you could just leave at 7 or 6:30, and you'd have plenty of time to do whatever you wanted.
Well, you know, it's all a matter. We drive on a long strip that's called I-5. So the main thing is you want to get out before the truckers wake up, because I-5 for the majority of it is a long barren drive on not a 2-lane highway, but each side has 2 lanes. So technically a 4-lane highway, I guess. But it ends up becoming what I call the snail races, because eventually you'll come up on a group of trucks, and there will be one trucker that wants to go a whole whopping 3 miles per hour faster than the others. So then they finally get their moment to go out and pass the truck or trucks in front of them. And they're not like us when we cut out and we decide to pass, you know. They don't hit the gas and they go. They hit the gas and they crawl. So it's a matter of getting out ahead of those. My wife's friend, who's the mother of one of the other dancers, she said, you know what you want to do? You want to get out by 5 a.m. is the perfect time. And that may sound crazy, Tony, but way back in 2011, when I was building out a radio studio in Kevin Smith's living room, that's exactly what I would do. I would leave at 5 a.m. so I would be in LA no later than 10 a.m. to start working. And there is something beautiful about that time. And that's when I realized, oh, it's getting out ahead of the truckers. That's what it is. So anyway, again, we're taking a break next week. So enjoy the week off, Tony, because Trent already told me he's got to wait for his next paycheck to get his computer. So, and he works for and he works for a university. So guess when paychecks aren't happening during this time of the year. So,
yeah,
you know, we're somewhat optimistic, but we shall see. So we're off next week. We'll be back the following week. I'm taking a real vacation. I haven't truly taken a real vacation in I don't know how many years. So for those of you that are also taking summer vacations, or, you know, for those of you that are fans that, or pardon me, those that follow the show that are in America, when we're not here next week, because it's also 4th of July. Happy 4th of July. Happy holiday. Tony, happy holiday to you. All my best wishes to your family while we're gone. And until next time, my name's Will.
And I'm Tony.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, magicmind.com/netheads20 if you want 48% off a subscription, 20% off a purchase. Give your mind a mental shot with the Magic Mind. Because, man, they got beautiful packaging. I'll tell you that right now, right?
You want that goody goody.
Exactly. Not that yum yum. You want the goody goody. New news. Until next time, I'm Will.
And I'm Tony.
Live long and prosper.
And may the force be with you.
Yes. Please do. Especially when you're going to Galaxy's Edge next
I know.
week.
I'm so jealous. I'm so excited and jealous for you.
Don't be.
NetHeads. We'll be back soon.
Goodbye.
This has been a Smodco Internet production. Sip. Only at smodcast.com. You know, Tony, now that you've said that, I'm thinking I'm going to have to get some type of maybe clear something that I can just rub on so I don't have to tape off the eyes.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to do that. And people are like, oh, isn't this clip supposed to be funny? You know what? Not everything in life is funny. And let me tell you something else. 3D printing, it's serious business, y'all. Especially when you're talking about a silly helmet being put on my head.